of dynamic analysis, we have seen that time is considered as a continuous variable. But now we are considering that time has the limitation of being a discrete variable. This is possible when the time can adopt a certain number of values and not all of the values. So when we study this, we have discrete time, and we will study a certain type of equation which will be the difference equation. And in this case, we start with the very basic kind of difference equation, that is first order difference equation. So this is the thing that we have talked about, and you can pause the video and read this paragraph that will guide you about it. Now we study the comparison of the two kinds of analyses that we have and we are studying, that is the continuous time analysis, and now we are talking about discrete time analysis. On the basis of various criteria, we are going to compare these. The etymology of the continuous means uninterrupted, something that is not broken, or something that doesn't have any gaps, and it's the Latin origin that we are talking about. And when we talk about the discrete variable or discrete entity, it is separate and it can have certain gaps. When we consider the nature of time, t is a continuous variable in continuous time analysis, and in discrete time analysis, t is a discrete variable. Nature of values that time can adopt is decimal as well as integers. We can have 1, we can have 1.5, we can have 2.6. So in this way, all of the possible values are adoptable, whereas when it comes to discrete analysis, only integers are possible values of time, that is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And when we consider the successive gaps here, the successive gaps are not necessarily equal, because you can see from 1 to 1.5 and then from 1.5 to 2.6, the gap is not the same, it's not uniform, whereas it is equal in this case, because 1, 2, 3, these are having equal gaps. Then we have possible values of t that we just saw, another set of examples. The values are 0.5, 1, then 1.6, and then 2, and then 2.9. So you see, any of the values can be chosen without any restriction on the gaps. And when we consider the discrete time function, we have a certain gap. Starting from 0, we have a gap of 1. Also known as point analysis, this continuous analysis, and the discrete analysis is also known as period analysis, because any point can be taken here, and here the observation happens after a certain period of time, and it cannot just happen at any point in time. So tools of analysis, we have used derivatives and differentials in continuous time analysis or differential equations. However, here we are going to use the difference or lags or leads. We will see how we can do this. Symbolization, the symbols that we have used here were these: differential and then derivative, partial differential and partial derivative. We have been using these in the differential equations. However, here we will use delta. Delta will be used as the operator of difference, and we can see that there can be a lag, that is t minus 1, something that is left behind, t minus 1, and lead, something that is ahead, t plus 1. So these are various symbols that are found in the discrete time analysis or difference equations. Therefore, we call them difference equations, because we can see that there is a certain difference, t minus 1 or t plus 1. So there is a difference. Delta also reveals the difference. Here there is the differential equations. They have derivatives and differentials, so we called them differential equations. And examples, the examples that we can talk about in case of continuous time analysis is a stock market activity, because the stock market activity continuously happens, and trading, especially in this digital era, the stock market activity is instantaneous and it can happen at any point in time. not with regular intervals. Whereas when it comes to seasonal crops, their prices they change after a certain time period in their season or out of their season. So they have periodic activity instead of having instantaneous activity like in stock market. So further we can observe the various features of period analysis. Exclusive features are there that are specific to period analysis or difference equations. Period doesn't necessarily relate to calendar rather than analytical sense. So it's not necessary that we refer to 2021 and then 2022 just like a calendar year. The period can be from any point to any point, but the gap will remain the same. For example, it can be from July 2021 till June 2022. So it's a fiscal year, and it can happen in period analysis or difference equations, or it can start from any of the months, but the gap will be the same. So it's not necessarily a calendar year or a fiscal year. It can start and end at any point in time. For example, if a firm is established in January or February, for example, then its point of analysis will start from February. It will not start from January. So it's neither a fiscal year nor a calendar year, but it is a time span that we are considering as the period of analysis for difference equations. A period is merely a length of time that elapses before variable undergoes a change. So it's just about that time in which y variable will change its value. It can be 1 month, it can be 1 day, it can be a week or a fortnight or a quarter of the year. So it's any one of these possibilities, but the main thing is that it is undergoing a change. The dependent variable y is undergoing a change. This is the discrete time representation. Instead of using the derivative, we are using delta y over delta x, because now we are dealing with a discrete variable, not with a continuous variable. So this is not applicable anymore. Consecutive time periods are observed. For example, delta t is equal to 1 means that if we are in 2021, then the other time period will be 2022 as per this equation. So the thing is that there are consecutive time periods in our analysis that we are doing. Delta shows the change in time, and it is equal to 1, which means that they are successive years without any other certain gaps. They are following each other with a gap of 1. If we talk about symbology, we will have subscript in the the subscript would be t for the discrete time, and we will write it like this: yt is the value of y in time period t. So this is how we represent the variable in this case of difference equation, whereas this was the differential equation that we did, in which it was a function of time. So this is not the notation we are going to use. We are going to put it in the subscript. This is how we use it. So let's consider a possibility here of how various equations can be written in difference equation format. Yt plus 1 is the value of y in time period immediately following t. So if yt was 2021, yt plus 1 would be 2022. And yt plus 1 is also known as the lead variable of yt, yes, because it is leading by 1. Yt minus 1 will be known as lag, because it will be left behind by 1 time period. So yt plus 1 and yt minus 1, both of them are there. Common terminologies in our Alpha C. Chiang's book, it is considered as or termed as difference equations, whereas commonly it is considered or termed as recurrence relations. So both of them are equivalent. We can see either of these terms when we study this kind of equations. Now a couple of examples of such equations. One is this: we can see a delta and the subscript t is appearing as well. If it is equal to 2, it means that we are not going to write dy, that is the differential of y. This is the difference of y. And another example would be delta yt is equal to minus 0.1 yt. So again, a difference equation is there, and this subscript as well as this delta is representing the presence of a difference equation. Instead of dy, we are writing delta. Now we can write these in an extended way. Instead of writing the delta, we can expand them. That is yt plus 1 minus yt, because we know that this is the change in yt, and when we take the change, we write t plus 1, the lead variable, before it, and we write the same variable before or after the minus sign. So this is something we need to remember. On the other side, again, you can see the same thing. The variable with which delta sign is appearing, we write it in the second place, and in the first place we write its lead version. Again, here we have a lead version of it. A little bit of rearrangement will also happen. 2 will remain on the right hand side, whereas this yt comes on the right hand side and its sign turns positive. So this is another way of writing the given equation. It tells us that if we want to calculate the lead, we simply have to add 2 in the given value, that is the original value of yt. So we have a pattern: only add 2 in the current time period and we'll get the value for the next time period. Here minus 0.1 t is there, and minus 0.1 t remains here while we expand the left hand side here by expanding the delta sign. Now we have shifted this yt on the other side, and when we shifted, it becomes positive from negative, and now we can solve these two. It becomes minus 0.9 yt, and yt is here as well, is equal to 0. So now we have another pattern here. I have written this equation in another way, simply by shifting this value on the right hand side, and it suggests that if I want to get the value of the variable in the next time period, I have to multiply the current value of the variable with 0.9. That is, the 90% of the current value will be the value in the next time period. It shows that there is a process in which the value is decreasing over time. So this is how we can interpret a difference equation. Now when we talk about the standard form, this is a standard form of the difference equation. It has the next time period's value, current time period's value, its coefficient a, and the constant c. Here the same things are explained. What is yt? The value of y variable in current time period. Yt plus 1, the value of y in next time period. And after this standard form, now we are in a position to go towards the solution of the first order difference equations. There are two ways of solving a difference equation. One is the iterative method or crude method, and the other is the general or formula method. We will learn both of these, whereas a formula method is more applicable and friendly when it comes to solving the difference equations. So we will use we will learn both of them, but commonly we will use the general or formula method of first order difference equation solution. So this was an introduction to first order difference equations, what they are, what is the standard form, how they are different from the first order differential equations, or what is the difference between discrete and continuous time analysis, and how we can interpret them whenever a difference equation is given. Thank you.